Alright, good afternoon everyone. I hope everyone had a nice weekend. So let's see what the market will bring. First let me check the audio quality. Bear with me. Alright, good afternoon everyone. I hope everyone had a nice weekend. So let's see what the market will bring. Sounds alright, but I will make sure this is a bit like this, so you guys can hear me. Alright. So during the Asia we had a nice move down. This was for me Europe time yesterday evening. And we basically chopped around until the Singapore close, I believe, and then now we are just slowly drifting lower. Keep in mind, this is still all-time highs areas, and over here, oh. There we go. So over here we can see that we nearly touched 7,800, and that is the current point that we need to break if we want to stay bullish. Looking at the gamma levels, we have some interesting levels. So we have the 7,770 once again. So this has been a quite a point of interest for ES. Has been used as a magnet. And my next guess is that we will probably retouch it, and then I would like to see what the reaction is. Now, if we do happen to break above the 7,800 level, then the next point of interest is quite high for now. That's at 7,820 or 18 over here. I like to round things up there, especially since this is unknown territory. And there are some major events to keep track of. So we have the inflation, what's going on with the inflation this week, so a lot of reports coming out. We also have, if you're trading stocks, some earning reports that I will be following, and that could have a direct impact, of course, on the markets here as well, on ES. Currently, I am just preparing myself for the session, because in about 20 minutes, New York opens. So I tried to save my preset from the last stream, and that still needs some work because I tried to load it and yeah, it didn't really work out as I wanted. But that's fine. I still have this preset up and running and ready. And this is my main view anyway, so that should work. On the other hand, it could also be fun to just do it again. Not that hard. So it takes me a second. I believe we had this around here. Then a NQ chart. There we go. So we will also be doing some TA on the Nasdaq today. Yes, that'll do. Not even this. Yes. Okay. So. So currently I'm trying to fit everything on one screen, so everything fits in the stream. So I might do it like this. This works. Like so. Maybe these a bit smaller, so they fit. There we go. Yeah, I think this is the perfect for you. I have my time and sales, my zoomed in 1 minute candle, my custom trading done, just the way that I like it, and then the gamma panel, and then the two charts of the Nasdaq and ES. Currently we are seeing that we are trading in a nice volume, so let me just zoom in on this. Show you what I mean. So we have a nice volume profile over here, and the big question is, will it hold or will it break? If it holds, we can have a push during the open to the highs, and then eventually, but that's a long stretch, but nothing is impossible, especially on Mondays, is to see the push above the 7,800 eventually. That is if we stay bullish. The bearish scenario is of course that we will break that volume profile. So this is what happens when you detach your panels, but as you can see, you can quickly place everything back into position just the way you like it. There we go. So by the looks of it, the volume profile and the price is holding over here. So we had a little fake out and then eventually we are now popping higher. Looking at the Max 7, it's a mixed bag at the moment, but keep in mind this is still pre-market, so we will wait and see what happens during the open. VIX still hasn't really moved, but I'm keeping my eye out on it for when it does. And for the people that wonder what this is down here, this is basically a representation of the time and sales, but then in the volume, so you can clearly see what's happening. So you can already see it by looking at the time and sales itself, of course, but it's also interesting to have a different view down below here. But mind you, my eyes are mostly focused on the bid and the ask, and then right next to it, the Max 7 and the data left and right. So a quick look down might be a little bit too much than having this in my eyesight on the left. Okay, there are more sellers present at the moment. Let's see if we can see any buy activity so far. They're trying to hold the price up, so even with the fake outs to the downside over here and the pop-up, you can clearly see this is just chopping around. And mind you, this is a zoomed in version as well of the 1 minute, so that makes sense. Nice little push here. It's a couple of points down. And interesting that the Nasdaq is above the full volume cluster and the ES is now under the volume cluster over here. But I always take this with a grain of salt, and I rather look at what the actual DOM is telling me. Currently, the buyers are setting in some pressure to keep it up. And we can also see that happening right now with the fills. Alright, in the meantime that we wait these couple of minutes before the open, so we still have 5 minutes, I wanted to show you some updates that I did on my website. So I created a more story-based landing page. This shows you from the beginning till the end what the Sharpnel terminal stands for and what you can get out of it. Now, keep in mind, I also stream daily, so I will already showcase what the terminal can do. But I think these are some nice visuals on the website and a nice update. I might change the layout a little bit more of what I want at the top and bottom over here, but overall I'm pretty happy with the results, especially with the 3D animation over here. So yep, please take a look, and if you have feedback, always feel free to email or DM me. Feedback is always welcome. Now, since we are 3 minutes into the, 3 minutes until the open, I'm not entertaining a short just yet, because normally it is pre-market and I could take a quick pre-market scalp if I want. But looking at the current action, I can see sellers are trying to really push and take over. But if my trade takes longer than 3 minutes and then I will have a trade at the open, now that's something that I want to avoid. So that's why I'm not hesitant or eager to jump into the trade right now. I rather wait for the reaction down here, see what that gives, and then go from there. By the way, I'm quite new at streaming, but if you know any other traders that would like to enjoy watching a stream like this, feel free to recommend me to other people as well, because it's not so cool to stream to 0 viewers, but I guess that's how everybody starts out, and you gotta start out somewhere, I guess. But yeah, for now, word of mouth is, I think, the biggest organic growth factor there is. So again, if you know anyone who's interested in watching this kind of trading content, send them over so I have more viewers. But yeah, just a quick shout out for anyone that is watching. And again, if you have any feedback, I love to hear it. If it's feedback I can work with, then it's more than welcome. That's also one of the reasons I changed my website a little. I got some very good feedback from a customer, and he pointed out a lot of things, and yeah, some things I can work with, so that is great. And we are open. Okay. So at the first initial look, it's trying to push up, but sellers are still actively slamming it down. Interesting. The Max 7 is mostly pointing upwards as well. And the thing that I'm looking at right now is that the bids, are they growing or are they shrinking? And same goes for the ask, and currently the ask is having some trouble here. That's also why we see the nice pump up in price action. Currently the Nasdaq is basically where it started out. See, it's getting slapped down. And I should have had my XLK open, so it could be that the tech stocks are now getting slapped. I don't know. Looking at the Max 7, we are now pulling down, but yeah. Again, the first 10 minutes of the New York Open, I try to stay neutral and not touch anything unless I see something that is very, very good and very solid to take. That can happen, but it has to meet my criteria as well. And currently it doesn't yet. Come on. There we go. That was a short, and that's what I mean. So the first 10 minutes I like to be hands off unless I really see a clean setup. So we were trading above the VWAP, and then eventually we went under the VWAP and the point of control as well, and then we rejected down, and I also saw that the sellers were increasing, buyers decreasing, so that was a very clean short scalp if you ask me. That's also a reason why I took it. Hey, Lazy. Good afternoon. It's undocked. Yes, I know. I was playing around with my presets a little bit, and also with how I like my setup. So currently I have this setup, and I might change it again tomorrow. But for me, the most important thing is, I think, having the trading done and the gamma panel in view. So basically we are back at the opening price, and keep in mind we are just 6 minutes into the open, and we had a nice push up, rejection down, and the big question is now, is it going to try and push again to get above the 80, or are the sellers now finally stepping in? Because the issue I'm having right now is that the sellers are not big enough in force to win it from the buyers. The buyers are still trying to keep this price at this level. And the big question is, when will the buyers exhaust? Even though it's like traffic signals. I know, right? So yeah, I guess you either love it or hate it. I also kind of like it, so that's a good thing. Before this, I had my own Windows computer, but it wasn't really a Windows computer, it was a Linux computer, where I also had the same symbols. It kinda looked the same. And now I have my Mac Mini, of course, so... but I like it. And I like with the Mac Mini that you can customize anything you like. So I know this bar over here, you can also have it to the left or the right, just with Windows, I think, and with Linux, so that's the same. But I like the whole effect of the application shown here. That's very sleek. Yeah, how I make 100k from the city. Yo, that had to be a meme, man. Come on. And currently I'm getting the same DMs as well, so it has to be from the same person. Like, okay, it's very clear that this is just a joke, but it's funny, so it's fine. Now, even though we are floating at the opening price on ES, it is an important level to keep track of because we do have a lot of gamma interest below us. And speaking of below us, it's right below us. So if that does not hold, we could drop down quite a bit. Well, not that much to the 50s area, so that's very doable, I think. Now for the upside, I think the upside is more difficult to break because we have to break above that 7,800 level, and that's not easy because, yeah, it's all-time high. So, and looking at the order book, we can already see that around this level and just before it there are a lot of orders to sell off, and that's what you can also clearly see in this chart. We approach it and we slowly go down again. Yeah, 30 meters is the way to achieve that, Vandal. That is the only way. 100x leverage, as they would say in crypto, or nothing. Now looking at the Nasdaq, that got hit a bit harder with the open, but again this looks very dramatic because it's on the 1 minute time frame. But let me just look at the gamma panel. So yeah, it's slowly going down, but it's trying to reclaim again. The bigger question is, will it? Taking that off, small loss. So the reasoning behind that trade was I saw that sellers were stepping in and buyers were shrinking. So once again, same thesis, same idea. Now it was a bit tricky because we were trading at the point of control. Meanwhile, we have VWAP above us, so my stop was above the VWAP. And I could have stayed in and probably even exited now with a break even. But I was not comfortable holding that for a long time. Yeah, it's staying in one position, and that is very hard to trade at the moment. So we're all waiting for a bigger move, I think. Fumble is saying, you said it would be hard to push higher. Could you explain that via the gag stream going over what you're looking at and you hover over the levels and then the net results in it? Of course. So currently, if we just look over here, I will make it a little bit bigger so you guys can see it. So keep in mind, this is all calculated from the live option market, so the SPX to ES and the NDX to NQ. I also have a layer of spine to ES and QQQ to NQ. So that's the calculation behind it, and the symbols that are looking at it. It's not the calculation, but it's the symbols that are behind these levels. So we can clearly see over here, you have the pull and call ratio over here, and you have the 0 day. So over here you can also only look at the 0 days. So if you are aware of the option market, then you will probably also be aware of what 0 days are. So those are for the same day. And these are for the multiple expiries. So I like to keep this at all. I like to look at the spot price. I can also have the full view over here, just to see how many puts and calls are active, and you can also hover over it and get more info in detail if you like. This is a more clean view, I think, of what's important. But let's quickly go back to the spot. So what we are now looking at is, okay, what's sticking out like a sore thumb? So we have a bottom and a top of interest. So the bottom interest is clearly 7,700 and the top is clearly around the 7,800, just below it. And it makes perfect sense that this is just below it, because a lot of people want to sell at this level, and it makes sense in the trading DOM as well. But if we zoom out a bit more, there is an even bigger spike over here, and that is just around the 7,825. And if we look at the call and put numbers, you can also see what's happening at that level. So that's it in a nutshell. And how do you combine this while trading futures? Because again, this is all for the ES price. I use these levels as magnets, and I use them in my thesis, the same as I would with the Mag 7 symbols over here. What are they doing in the current moment? And as you can see, they can move around a lot, because it's also it's tracking a live active market, but they do pull and correlate with the markets that we are trading. Now, I took one good short and one loss. The loss was not that much, so it was 60 bucks. And the profit was 200, so I'm still at $200. So that is fine. Now it's just a matter of what will the market do, and looking at ES could be a bit boring, but we also have a Nasdaq chart Over here, Nasdaq is a bit more active, so we are still in the position to reclaim this level over here. So you can see we went down slowly, then we chopped around here, went down again, and now we are reclaiming it. And what I would like to see is a full reclaim and then to the upside. But the tech sector has to play along, the Max 7 has to play along, and ES has to play along. And currently we are just still mating once again here. Does not mean that it's not tradable, of course. Let me see the comment of Fumble. So price wouldn't necessarily go above the gamma level, like above the 7,800 gamma, which is interesting take to me. Well, that's not really what I'm saying. So what I'm saying over here is that yes, it will probably reject and sell off, especially by the looks and the size of the gamma interest over here. But if buyers take over control, and this is the big but, if buyers keep pushing the price higher, then the next level of interest would be at the 822 level. Now, that is very possible that the price continues up and uses this as the new support, and then it's up, uses support, and magnets to the next level. So, very possible. But buyers need to show themselves, because currently it's a tug of war with the buyers and sellers over here. And price is going basically nowhere, let's be honest. I mean, let me look at the chart view. So again, 1 minute chart over here. What has the price been doing now? Not much. It went up a little and it went down a little. And yes, we have the open and that's a bit more wild, but we are still just over here doing absolutely nothing. Keep in mind, it's summer. There we go. That's a better view. Okay, I saw a quick shift in the Nasdaq gamma, so let's have a look. Interesting. So this wasn't here before, I think. So we're trying to reclaim that level I was talking about. So over here we try to reclaim. We are kind of rejecting now here. Let's have a look at the NQ DOM and confirm it. That's better. It looks very wild and it looks like it's rejecting, but to be honest, the buyers keep stepping in over here. So I'm seeing a lot of 6 contracts, 5 contracts, 6 contracts. So yeah, see? You see what I mean? The push. And you can also see it in the chart that it's trying. Keeps getting slapped down though. ES is also finally picking up. Interesting. All right, I think it's now time that I start my own trading session and focus. So my game plan is basically to watch the gamma levels over here, mainly this one if it will hold. And the more zoomed in approach is that I need to quickly go with the trend. So I'm not really going in with a bias today. So yeah, let's wait and see and how this session will go. But for now, if you're trading this, stay safe and thank you for watching. Let's see, OBS. There we go, I was looking for my OBS.